look at what's been happening with Bitcoin. We just came from all the way up there and went all the way down, and we can see down here, this is in July where we had this falling wedge pattern that formed, and we had a nice break out of that wedge here, pull back, and a push higher. Now, ignoring all of this that has happened, what's been happening of late is we've had an uptrend line like this that we can see there, and the market has reacted very nicely. We had our first touch at this point and a second touch here, and this would have been a nice place to take an entry within the third touch. And if we zoom in, you will see that in addition to this, we also have had an uptrend line that is formed here. Giving us another interesting wedge, this one being a rising wedge pattern. And I'm just going to mark out this zone here because we're going to refer to it later. And I'm also going to mark out this zone here because we're going to refer to it again later. And within this rising wedge pattern, we also had a falling wedge pattern that formed here. From those two lows, and we had a nice breakout again from that wedge pattern, which is why I highlighted within this zone here, because that's where we had demand actually managing to sustain from the retracement. Then we had to push higher to make higher highs above this point, and then we've had now a pushback, and we actually now for the first time have broken out of this trend line, this uptrend line from January, which was around August. And then from there, we've had an entry back into this demand zone, and we've been sitting in this demand zone for a while. Now, what I expect is likely going to happen here is one of two things. Within this demand zone, one of two things is likely going to happen. Either the market is going to be able to sustain this zone, and what we might see is a push up, which is as well right now we're seeing this zone holding up nicely, and then we can expect something like that. But if this zone does not hold and you manage to break below it, we can expect that break to result in us seeking the next zone, which is just down here. Just for context, this is the zone from this demand that we had here. If I was to stretch this out also, we would see there's another zone somewhere here with where we had like a pause as we're going up, and this zone seems to be quite a significant zone. As for those of you who do follow Bitcoin, 20,000 has always been a significant figure, and that's what this zone represents, from 21.5 to 19.5, and it's a very key zone. So this is what I'm looking at right now with Bitcoin, and if we were to trade the falling wedge, this would be a nice position to take a short. And I won't go into the stop losses and all of that, but this would be a nice position to take a short, looking to seek lower lows somewhere down there. At the same time, if you've got a bullish bias, there's many reasons to take a bullish bias here. We have this candlestick pattern that formed here, and another candlestick pattern that formed here, right in the zone of the demand. And so there really is interest for the buyers here if we manage to keep the price above this level of 25,000, 24,700, somewhere there. As long as we can stay above that, we can expect the market to seek higher highs, or at least come back to, if I was to extend this trend line upwards, at least come back to somewhere up there, which is around 32,000. And then perhaps if we fail to sustain that, seeing that there is no real news out there that could support a bullish move, then we could likely then see that move down. This move down, by the way. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing right now with Bitcoin. Let me know what you think in the